And now, Ashley Nicole McCray from Indigenize, the University of Oklahoma.
Hey, hane washte, on petu washdekte. Good morning. Today is a good day. Before I say anything else, I just wanted to take a moment to recognize the original injustice that occurred on this land. This town, Amherst, is named after Lord Jeffrey Amherst, who is responsible for germ warfare against Indigenous people. He is the person who brought smallpox blankets to Indigenous people to exact our genocide. The original people that lived in this land were the Massachusetts and the Wampanoag, and a couple other tribes. So I just wanted to make a point of bringing that out in this space so that we can show respect to the land that we're on and the people who cannot be here in this space today. I also wanted to give a huge shout out to her, Making Her Story, and all my other Oklahomies in the house. I'm like wearing my thunder gear ribbon skirt, so yeah, thunder up. My name is Ashley Nicole McCray. I am a proud Oglala and Sicangu Lakota woman, and I'm also proud, very proud, to be an enrolled member of the Absentee Shawnee tribe of Oklahoma. We were originally located on the East Coast, but when white encroachment happened and settler colonialism took place, we were forcibly removed to Oklahoma, which is where I call home. I was born and raised in Oklahoma. I'm here as an ambassador for many different organizations. Oklahoman, Native people, Indigenous people are working so hard. We have so many battles, and I can't even express how intersectional our work is by necessity. We have pipelines, and the pipeline issue, it affects us in many different ways. Cushing, Oklahoma is the pipeline capital of the world. They're very proud of that. We have pipelines going through sacred Indigenous sites. My tribe, the Absentee Shawnee tribe, I'm from the Micoche division of the Big Jim Band, and I am Deer and Horse Clan, and my ancestors know me as Nyatawe Pieshi. So I'm very, very proud of that identity, and it's very, very important to me spiritually and in many other ways as well. Our sacred ceremonial lands, right now we're currently fighting the Plains All-American Pipeline, which will build a connection from Cushing, Oklahoma, and take oil, crude oil, through our sacred ceremonial sites and into Lexington, Texas, which will then be taken down to the Gulf Coast to be refined and exported out onto the global market. And not just that, we also have an issue with tribal sovereignty. Oklahoma is home to 39 federally recognized tribes. Most of those tribes did not originally occupy that land. Most of them are not indigenous to that space. We were forced there through death marches, through Trail of Tears, through forced relocations and displacements. My great-grandfather, his allotment was where Lake Thunderbird currently sits. There are no natural bodies of lakes in the state of Oklahoma. They're all man-made. And in the 1960s, my great-grandfather and about 40 other Absentee Shawnee tribal members were forced off their land by the state of Oklahoma by way of eminent domain. He was forced to sell his land for $1 an acre, and he was made homeless and taken away from his tribal and ceremonial grounds. So that's something to think about. And right now, we have an issue in the state of Oklahoma, which does have obviously one of the highest populations of Indigenous people. We have an issue of not recognizing or respecting or acknowledging tribal sovereignty. Indigenous nations are sovereign. We are sovereign nations. We have the right to govern from our own autonomy. We have our language, we have our own cultures, we have our own ways of being, we have our own governments, we have our own ways of interacting. And it's really important for mainstream government bodies to recognize that. But in Oklahoma, that's not happening right now. I had a tribal elder, because I'm part of No Plains Pipeline, which is fighting this pipeline. I had a tribal elder contact me with a letter about fracking. A fracking company is going to build a fracking site on her land, and they said, you don't need to reply, you don't need to respond to this letter. We just wanted to let you know that this is happening. So this is happening over and over again. The rape of our land is also tied to the rape of our women. We know that pipelines and fracking sites bring about man camps, which increase the likelihood of our Indigenous women going missing and murdered. That's why we have a hashtag, Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls. That's why we are more likely than any other woman to be raped or sexually assaulted in our lifetime. Statistics say 1 in 3 women will be raped. So it's not a matter of if, but when. Pam Kingfisher and Sharon Asatour actually just wrote a children's book, What to Do When You Get Raped. Our children, our women, our young women, our girls have to read that book. What role are you playing in making sure that my daughter doesn't have to read that book, that I don't have to arm her with what to do when you get sexually assaulted, because it will happen? Just something to think about right there. But environmental justice, going back to the issue of intersectionality, environmental justice, reproductive justice, police brutality, all of these things are tied together for Native people because the issue that we're facing is the issue of colonization. That is what our oppression is tied to. The work I'm doing is decolonizing and indigenizing spaces. I am part of the organization Indigenize OU, but we're working very, very hard to make sure that we do have rights in Oklahoma. So I want to shout out to all the people, all the Native people in Oklahoma who are doing so much awesome work, from fighting the 89er Day Parade, which is coming up. Celebration of the Land Runs in my hometown is going to pay $5,000 to let the celebration go forward. And I also want to shout out to Melissa Goodblanket, whose son, Mahavis Goodblanket, was shot and killed by the Custer County Sheriff's Department a few years ago for being Native. And I think that that's really important, that we do recognize that police brutality, that the rape of our land, the rape of our women, the rape of our young girls, all of these issues are tied together, and it's because of colonization. So I really just wanted to bring that into this space today to make sure that we do tread in a respectful way. And I just wanted to say, Wopila, Pilama Yaye, Ni Yahweh. Thank you very much for letting me speak here. I feel very humbled and honored. Thank you.